Okay, so let's talk about the basic anatomy of an anvil. So a typical anvil, unless you're doing a railroad track or a piece of plate, thick steel plate as your anvil, is going to have a horn. So what I'm focused on right there, it'll have a shoulder right here, the face, so that's where the majority of your work is going to happen. It'll have the back end of the anvil where typically the hardy hole, so the square hole, and the pritchel are, the round hole. It's going to have a neck, so the main kind of center mass of that anvil, and then it'll have some feet to help distribute the force you're applying to it. So to use the anvil effectively, most of your work, like I mentioned, is going to happen right in the middle of that face, right above center mass. So as you hammer down, that anvil is going to push back up at you. To get bends and curves and scrolls and things, you'll move over to the horn and bend that around the horn. And these techniques are something I'll demonstrate in some later videos in this course, all about basic techniques. So the hardy hole, that square hole in the back there, that takes tools, anvil top tools that have a square post that fits neatly inside of this square hole. The one I use most often, and I'll grab it over here if you'll take a walk with me real quick, is this nice bending fork. I believe I got this from maybe blacksmithsupply.com. So that's set up with that square post to fit in the hardy hole, and then with my hot piece of metal I can put that through these two uprights and bend it around. Please excuse the loud noises, industrial area. So that'll keep it nice and secure if I want to work things hot. We'll set that aside for now. The main tool that you put in that hardy hole is called the hardy cutoff, or the hardy tool, and it's just an upright blade with a square post that you use for cutting metal off while it's still hot. Okay, so the pritchel hole on the back is used for punching and drifting. So imagine if you've got a hard piece of steel that's shaped like a cone and you want to punch a hole through another piece of steel that's nice and hot. You don't want to damage the face of your anvil, so as you punch through it, you're going to move it over to that pritchel so the end of that punch can go straight through and not damage the face of your anvil. Let me see if I can grab a punch over here for you. Yep, so here's a punch. This one's actually been beat up a little bit, so you can see the little tip has been curved around. But you can imagine as you punch through a piece, that hardened tip needs somewhere to go rather than just into the face of your anvil. So you put that piece of hot metal across there, hammer on the top of that punch, and it sends it right through and pops out what we call a biscuit, a little hot biscuit on the floor. So that's the basics of anvil anatomy, and like I said, a little later in the course you'll see how I use the different parts of that anatomy to make various shapes and do basic projects.